Here is part 2 of what's happening with all the states with general skilled migration. Queensland has ramped up their invitations, offering priority processing for those applicants who qualify. They just had a window for priority processing, so keep a lookout for the next dates. Tasmania have confirmed that they won't be closing for this financial year, but they'll probably slow down on invitations just like all other states, and we'll have to wait until the new financial year to see what the new published requirements are. Northern Territory are open now, but they usually close for the financial year. They have also just opened for offshore applications. And Western Australia will probably start slowing down for invitations. Last week, it was announced that student visa holders who are already working in the aged care sector as of the 9th of May 2023 can continue to work unrestricted hours until the 31st of December 2023. Now, we are still waiting for more clarification in relation to this, but how I interpret it is only people who are working in aged care. It can be any occupation at this point, but strictly in an aged care sector. To me, this does not include the disability support sector. So let's see, there's still a couple of months until the new restrictions kick in. From the 1st of July 2023, student visa holders will be restricted to working only 48 hours per fortnight. Those who are working in the aged care sector, it's still important to remain a genuine student. You must maintain your course enrollment, ensure satisfactory course attendance and course progress. I don't know how many times I must say this, but if you're in Australia on a student visa, you could already be eligible to apply for permanent residency. I'll give you an example. So we had a client who came to Australia to study a Bachelor of Hospitality. Previously overseas, he had completed a Diploma of Culinary Arts, but also had like 4 years of full-time work experience as a chef. During the consultation, I advised that, hey, we can apply for a skills assessment now. You'll need to go do your English test. And once that's all done, we could apply for an expression of interest to be invited for the 190 and 189 visa. So that's exactly what we did. The skills assessment process did take some time. It took like 6 months. But after that, we lodged an expression of interest to be invited for the 189 and 190 visa in New South Wales. He was actually invited about 3 weeks later. Still waiting for the visa to be granted, but once it's granted, it will supersede his student visa. Now, until that visa is actually granted, he still has to continue studying. Don't recommend withdrawing from your course or anything like that. But as soon as the visa is granted, it will supersede his student visa. Therefore, he no longer needs to continue study or comply with the student visa conditions because he's on a permanent visa. You don't actually need to complete your current studies to be eligible. In his situation, the only benefit of completing the course is that he would get more points. But chefs were being invited for the 190 visa at 70 points. So he technically didn't need those extra points from completing the studies. Let me explain why this new aged care industry labour agreement is such a big deal. There's a huge skill shortage of aged care workers in Australia at the moment. In fact, I was reading the other day that this shortage by 2050 will be up to 400,000 if we don't take drastic action now. So first of all, this industry labour agreement actually allows employers to sponsor workers in occupations that were not on the occupation list previously. Occupations such as personal care aide as well as aged carer. Second of all, they've made it easier for employers and employees to meet the requirements. That basically drop the requirements as compared to a standard 482 visa application. Next, they've streamlined the entire process to apply for this, and they've promised that these applications will be priority processed, which means these employers will be able to fill their skill shortages quicker. Lastly, is the opportunity for the visa applicants where there's a 2-year pathway to permanent residency. So they'll have to work with the employer first for at least 2 years, and then they'll be able to apply for the 186 permanent residency visa.